another episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in again. So this episode, it's inspired by the four-wheel drive show that we were entered into last week. It was Show and Shine. That was a great day. Cheers to everyone who came out, said g'day, introduced themselves, commented about the car, asked questions, that subscribe, that follow. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. So then, in this video, I'm going to answer, well, you're actually going to answer the main question that got asked to me at the four-wheel drive show. And that is, why didn't you go a 79 series? Why did you pick a 76 series? Should I go a 76 series? Or should I go a 79 series? Benefits, cons, all the above. Well, if you watch this video, hopefully you can answer that yourself, because at the end of the day, it is your choice. But I will tell you why I went a 76 series here. Let's go. Anyway, as time went on, I got further into my apprenticeship. I was always near these cars, especially 79 series. And I did start to really like them, but I did in particularly like the sandy taupe colour, which, to be honest, we're talking 2012, 13 and 14. It's not that long ago, but I swear nobody had a sandy taupe Land Cruiser back then. The colour of choice back then was graphite or white, sometimes Merlot, but those were the popular colours, and sandy taupe never came around. I used to see photos of them on the internet. Single cabs is what I was after, in a sandy taupe with a black tray or a sandy taupe tray, and I fell in love with the colour. The missus used to tell me it's like a safari colour or like a baby poo brown. I said, yeah, but it's the it brings back the old school Land Cruisers of back in the day and puts that gloss to it, and it looks bloody unreal. I loved it. So then all of a sudden I needed a new car. I was in the market. I wanted a 79 series and I wanted a single cab, as the guy that I worked with mainly had a white single cab and he had the old tin dash, and that would have been what, a 2007 model then, I guess, 2008 model, and that was so good. It was, I remember driving it and it felt like a truck, where these new dashes, yeah, it's a bit more sophisticated by 10%. That's still pretty basic, but that feel you got from that old tin dash. I swear the steering wheel was a bit more angled. You could see, the whole bonnet, you see the bull bar, and you're sort of on top of it. And with the pedals, some of you will know what I'm talking about. You clutch, you brake, your accelerator. You sort of have to push down and in, and that feeling is, I can't describe it. It's a drivable car. It demands a lot from the driver, as do the new dashes, but I really like that feeling of driving the car, controlling it, the solid axle feel, you're correcting the car. I adore that in a car. But also keep in mind, no one knew about tuning back then either, these things, it was, people did it, don't get me wrong, but not everyone did it. They all had just the factory tune that came with it, whack an exhaust on it, and you're done. And everyone knew they weren't very quick, but as soon as people started tuning them, getting them, to wake up a bit, they actually move a fair bit once you get these things done. You shouldn't have to tell you the truth. I reckon it should come from factory as an option. But, the amount of accessories you get for these motors now, because they've been around since, 2007, it's unreal. Turbos, everything. You really can wake these things up and get them, shifted. So anyway, I think I was third year apprentice, and I found a used single cab sandy taupe at Maruya Toyota. I can't remember the price. I couldn't afford a brand new one. And also keep in mind, this is not when Toyota tax was put on like it is now after COVID. This was, a long time ago, where a used car is cheaper than a brand new car. So I think it wasn't far off though. I think it was somewhere around that 55, 60 grand, which was still quite expensive for a third year apprentice. Anyway, I remember trying to get the loan because you know, I didn't have a business back then, nothing. It was just an apprentice. Just a normal third-year apprentice wage, wasn't getting anywhere. I was just focusing on a career. That was the wage. And I didn't get approved. And I do remember saying to the missus, one day I'm going to have one. I was very gutted when I didn't get approved. There was conditions to get approved. I think I had to come up with $10,000 cash, and keep in mind, a third year, I didn't have $10,000 cash just to splurge like that. I could afford the repayments, but looking back now, I'm glad I didn't do it. You know, I would have stretched myself, and I probably wouldn't be in the position I am now if I did that. So then fast forward a few years, I got signed off, I started my own business. I tried again. I said, all right, let's go for another 79. Bugger it. And I'll keep it forever. Went into the dealership and the prices skyrocketed. I wanted to add all the extras. No, way too much. I weighed up, all right, a house or a 79. What's it gonna be? You know, and my skill in the trade of being a carpenter, well, I can get away with building a house a lot cheaper than just your average Joe that works in an office. So I bit the bullet and I chose a house. And to be honest, I'm so thankful I did that. So thankful I did that. Settled for an MP300 Navara, and that served its purpose brilliantly. That was a great car. And with the nav, you know, I didn't do too much to it. I did the tub, the rear tub. I put a fridge in it, a couple of drawers, did a rooftop bracketry that sort of, you know, comes off the tub and then it's flat. I don't know what you call that, but I just made that myself before these people started making, you know, prefabricated ones you can buy off the net. I seen it on the net a long time ago, and I thought, if I get a dual cab ute, that's what I'm going to do. And then I had the fold out Darchi rooftop tent, and that top of that was level with the top of the car. So, you know, it looked aesthetically pleasing as well. I had 285s on it. The DPF fell out of that thing. You know, they tend to do that in them. Just when it does fall out, just make sure you turn around and pick it back up. So in the MP300, that serves its purpose. That's when, you know, things started to kick off a bit more with the touring thing. We went to Morton Island with George and Shana from GS Adventures. They also had an MP300 before they got the 200 series, and that was an STX, and that was pretty heavily modified, and it was a really nice car. Actually, it was really nice. So, you know, we did a few trips with them. We went down to Vic High Country in the nav, went to Adelaide, around Adelaide, touring, and that was great. That car was very fuel efficient. That's what I remember. So also, I grew up in Toyotas. My old man had a 80 series. Wasn't turboed. We ended up turboing it. I remember that, but I was very young at this time, and that was the Merlot color as well. And I think that Merlot color for an 80 series, that was sort of like the flagship color. You know how every car sort of has a flagship color that's sort of advertised on TV. You see Holden Ute, for example, the VE, I think it was green, just stuff like that. So we had that color, black flares, and I remember we put 35s on it, and I'm talking maybe 2001, 2002. I was in year 2 at school. I just remember looking at these tires, and I was looking up at them. I swear they were huge, and we used to do trips all the time in that thing. You know, we'd do Stockton Beach, we'd cruise up to Vic High Country. Like, we'd do so many things in that car. But I was just a kid. I was interested in it, but, you know, I wasn't passionate about it. We were around people with 60 series, you know, troopies. These are all the family friends we used to go with. You know, I didn't think of anything different. We had the 80 series. You know, it was awesome. So I've always had something for a Toyota. So once I got rid of the MP300, I said to myself, that's it, 79 series time. It's got to happen. It's just got to happen. So I was in the proper market for one now, no matter the price. The business was established for 6 years, so it was good to go. I needed a tax write-off. That was a big benefit. So I looked at 79 series, sold on a 79 series, brand spanking new 79 Sandy Torp. I said, that's it, dual cab. Needed a dual cab. The missus said, you're not getting it unless it's a dual cab. I said, no problem. I was just at that bloody roadwork sign, at a stop sign at a roadworks, for about 10 minutes then. I don't know if you could see that on the camera in the windows where nothing's moving, but Anyway, straight to Toyota, ordered a brand spanking new 79 series ARB bull bar, scrub bar, sandy top dual cab with 12 months worth of rego through the business on an ABN. Yep, no problem, signed it, walked away. They gave me a lead time of about 4 months. This is just before COVID hit, just before it hit. And I said, no problem, all good. I called them maybe a month in and I just said, it's all good, are we on track? Just checking up. And then they told me, the order got missed, no one placed it. So we'll place it now. And I said, you're gonna place it now? They said, yeah. I said, so I'm gonna be waiting 5 months? They said, yeah. I said, don't even worry about it. So I went straight to another Toyota, walked in the door, and I had in the back of my head a 76 series. I don't know why. Always just 79. Just had 76 in the back, just photos of them, you know, how good they are, really do like them. And sat down at the new one, I said, look, this is what's happened with the other Toyota. This is what I need and what I want. They said, yeah, no problem. They said, all right, well, here it is. And as he turned the computer screen around, and he goes, that's the price I'm sitting at with what you want. I said, what's that price just below it? He goes, oh, that's for a 76 series wagon. I said, you know what, give me one of them. This car was $10,000 cheaper than a 79 series. I said, that's unbeatable. And he goes, well, yeah, it's not too bad as an ABN at the moment. I called the accountant real quick and I just confirmed that the 70 series platform, whether it's 78, 76, 79, are all commercial vehicles. That way, you know, the input tax can be claimed and everything. Absolutely, bang. Ordered a 76, left the dealership going, wow, you know, it was always a 79, now it's a 76. I ordered the car in on February 2019, and it came August the 4th, I think it was, 2019 as well. So nothing like today. I just read yesterday on Toyota's website that they are pausing production on the 70 series, or pausing orders, I should say, not production, sorry. Pausing the brand new orders just because the supply and demand is just, it runs after them. It was kind of like a word vomit when I said 76 series. To be on the spot at the dealership, deciding between 79 and 76, that was difficult, you know, that was very difficult. So I just said, yeah, 76, that's what I want. And to be honest, I haven't looked back at all. They are a bit rarer, I guess, in a way. Like, they're not rarer in getting it, but you see them around. Not many people have a 76 series that's sandy tall. You know, you see all your 79s today, tray and canopy setups. I love them. They're unreal, you know, stretched, all the above, portals, all that. That's unreal. But to get a 76, it's just something a little bit different. So that's why I got it. And my train of thought was also, you know, you get a 79 series, you put a canopy on it. Most of the time it's going to be, say, a 1500 canopy on an 1800 tray. You fill your canopy with drawers, fridges, whatnot. You're turning the car essentially into a wagon, right? Give or take. Yeah, sure, you can have a jack-off canopy. Understandable, rule that out then. But for those that don't have that sort of stuff, they fix the canopy, they never take it off. It's essentially a big wagon. Yeah, there is more room, definitely more room. But I chose a wagon because everything's inside where I am. There is a few things that isn't very good. One, the fridge is just there. I can hear it. Compressors on, compressors off, compressors on, compressors on. It's very quiet, but it's there. I can hear it. You know, all the gears in the back. There's not a lot of room in these cars, that's for sure. But for me, the missus, and the kid, there's plenty of room for now. So in my eyes, I really think the 76 looks better than a 79. This brings back, I reckon, the old charm of, example, a 60 series. You know, it gives it that real boxy, square landcruiser wagon, I guess. You know, it follows the 80 series. I can see a bit of 80 series in it, but mainly 60. I feel like it's a newer, older version of a 60 series. That's why I really fell in love with a 76 series shape, I guess. You know, the back isn't that great. it's not that much room just there, but if you set it up properly, I feel like, utilize the space a bit better. K-On do an awesome rear shelf in there. They do a cargo barrier. That really helps out. So I do have a kid seat in the back, obviously, as most of you would have saw at the 4x4 show and on, the walkthrough with the car. It's really, as I said, just about utilising the space. We got the rooftop, but we made sure the rooftop was a plus model in the Motops, or I'm not too sure about the other companies, but we could store a lot of things in the rooftop, which, a lot of people wouldn't know. So you leave your bedding in there, leave your pillows in there, but you can also put bags in there of, anything really, just clothes. Lay your clothes out flat, like a sports bag. Wouldn't put a backpack. You could probably put a backpack laid down, I guess. I've never tried that. But fishing rods, I put that up in there, not bait, because, fishing bait will make it smell when you want to sleep at night. So we utilise a lot of space. Even in the awning on the other side, that's actually a really good space as well when the rooftop's not on, for fishing rods. If none of you's thought of that, throw your fishing rods in your awning bag, zip it back up. That's, again, it's protected, and it's a space that's not really used except for what it is for, which is the awning. Just before I bought this car, I actually was about, I'm going to say, a week away from pulling the trigger on an 80 series factory turbo. It was going to be a 1HD FTE. So that actually is one of my favourite Toyota motors, if not the most reliable. So for the vehicle sound, it's a real bonus and a real love of mine to hear a vehicle. I love my cars, whether it's a performance car on the street or a four-wheel drive. I love the sound of it. You get some that sound a bit funny. I don't know just yet, obviously, but say, for example, the Toyota 300 series, it's a V6, 3.3 litre or whatever they are, twin turbo. So hopefully they get a bit of whiz if you can, put some nice exhaust on it or something like that. But for this, a V8, I want to hear the V8. So that was a big bonus in buying the car. The shape of it, the ruggedness, the reliability. I love that agriculturalness to it. It's the colour, especially. That's hands down my most favourite colour that you can bring in the Toyota range. A question that I got asked a lot as well at the 4x4 show is, will it fit my family in there? Look, a family of 4, 2 kids, 2 adults, you'd fit them, no problem. Even if you're planning on towing a caravan, unreal car to do that as well. Look, I've got a 1-year-old, my missus and myself, and I've said it time and time again, we fit comfortably only because we've utilised what we have in the car. That's all I ever wanted to do. I'm not going to make sacrifices on getting a car I don't want just to try and fit my family in there. This is going to work for my family because I'm going to make it work for my family. Another drawback, in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, but to buy a 79 series, you're paying 85, 80 straight off the bat. And then, if you're going to extend the chassis, there's a rule of thumb that I follow. I know it's a whole different concept, but, in, say, building, if you stretch something, a bit further, so you've got a wider gap from wheel to wheel, which is sort of, as you'd say, a load point to the ground. In between, the member in between, which is your chassis, as in timber, if you spread the load further for where the load is, and then you got to spread that weight in there, the beam's got to get bigger, right? So the further you go out, the bigger the beam's got to go. For a 79 series, if you extend it, I'm not too sure. I know they brace, chassis and all that sort of stuff, but is the strength still there? I guess it's tested. It has to be tested to be on the road, I suppose. But, it's just those little things that I could see. I don't know, you sacrifice the turning circle, and as I said before, you're turning the car into a bit of a wagon, essentially. And then a lot of people used to turn these into the utes before the dual cab came out. They'd cut there. Another thing that I learned about the 76, obviously it's a shorter wheelbase. So we share the same, pretty much everything with the 79 except the chassis is shorter. The doors, as in on the body, I should say, we share most of them. The doors are all the same, but you'd notice in the 76, in this part of the door here, we cut off where the 79 has like a panel that sort of, it sits there, but it's the same door, as in rear door. that's where obviously our rear wheel finishes there. Hence the the shorter wheelbase, which apparently gives you a better approach and departure angle. So again, that's another bonus I guess you get with the 76 series. So another question I got was, do you recommend one of these cars to me? I'm going to be completely honest and say no. I wouldn't recommend a 70 series to just the average buyer that doesn't know about them. The people that want to buy these cars, a 79, a 76, whatever, they know about the cars. They know they want the car. If you're not sure on what you want, I wouldn't recommend it buying it brand new from factory. Even a used one for that matter, only because of the price. It's ridiculous, the market at the moment for the second-hand one of these. I get it, I know why, I understand, but I wouldn't recommend them, no. Only because you're paying so much out the arse for nothing. You're getting the motor, you're getting the car, but then you've got to add everything on that. This car, when I first bought it, had nothing on it. I'll show you a photo. It is empty, and then for the average buyer, it's really not worth the money. A good bonus for the 76 as well, and the 79s in fact, the 78s. They're such an easily modified car, not just because of the accessories available like I said before, but for example, for wiring, there's bungs everywhere in these cars that is so easy to get to. Pop it through. The firewall, so easy to accessible I should say. Pop it through and you're done. Out the back, there's bungs down the bottom, there's bungs up the top, run your wire through, you're good to go. Clips inside, screws for the dash, center console stuff, door cards. For an average Joe like me that is not mechanically minded at all, it is so simple for me to do to modify this car. As you said, I did a lot of the work myself on this car, but it is so easy, compared to more of your modern cars, dual cabs. They look fantastic because it's all hidden. You can't find screws, you don't know where everything is, it's all capped off perfectly. It's a bit hard to work on for me. You've got to send it to a shop and pay someone to do it who knows what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's so easy just to modify this car. Another added bonus with these, I feel, if you're in remote areas, you're going to get parts for these cars in the next serviceable town a lot more easier than you are, something a bit rarer. So that's a big thumbs up for me. And with that, also I feel like because they've been around for so long, that in the next serviceable town, the next mechanic is going to know what he's working on with these cars. It's not something new where they have to sit there and diagnose a problem and figure out a way on how to fix it. 9 times out of 10, they've worked on these cars before. But for a comparison from a 79 to a 76, even a 78 Truby for a matter of fact, this would have to be the least amount of room is a 76. So if you're after room, it's definitely not the car for you. I'd choose one of the other two. So in saying it is the smallest in the fleet, excluding the single cab obviously, it also is the lightest as it sits. So as I am right now, if I was to go away tomorrow, say example Fraser Island, obviously I'd have to throw a lot more food in the fridge, in the pantry, but I don't actually physically have to put anything in the car. Water tank's in there, obviously the fuel tank, rooftops on, max tracks are in, recovery's in the back, general tools are in the back full time. I'm not going to change nothing with the wheels or tyres, suspension, it's all staying the same. So as I weigh at the moment, I'm 2.9 tons. So I've got 500 kilos to play with before I hit the GVM, which was GVM upgraded obviously. Factory GVM on these is 3 ton and 60 kilos, and this has the upgrade of 3,400 kilos, which for me it's plenty as it sits. That's 2.9 ton is with me, the missus, and obviously the kid in the car, because we had to get it weighed as a tear weight. So a bad downside, it's not just for the 76, I feel like it's for pretty much all the 70 fleet. You do have to upgrade a lot to make them quite better, and it's things you don't really want to upgrade. Cup holders, brakes, that's a big one, is brakes, power. To do all them, you kind of have to do it if you're interested in touring, I should say, with your family. But if you're a farmer and you're just buying this car, don't touch it, leave it as factory. It's gonna make any man happy. But as it is to go touring around Australia with the family, there is necessities that you do need to upgrade in these cars, which is a bit of a bummer. So just to sum up, the reason I got a 76 was I just wanted the wagon, I guess. You know, I always, as I said, wanted the 80s use. 76 was there, so I didn't really want a ute again because I've had utes all my life. So wagon it was. Come in the Sandy Torp, even better, and a little bit cheaper than a 79. That was a bonus, I guess. Didn't really matter, but it looks. I think this colour looks really good in the wagon with all black accessories. So yeah, that's why I got it. Thanks for tuning in to this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.